and welcome to your most authoritative evening political show in the country, Hot News. We are coming to you from our studios in Abelenkwe 48 Swanika Street here in Accra. My name is Justice Appiah. Let me remind you that this program is live on Facebook at Pan-African Television. We are also live on YouTube at Pan-African Television. It is very interactive, and so you can leave your comments, whatnot, suggestions, questions, and so on our social media pages. We'll make a time and read all those out for you. You can as well connect with us via our WhatsApp stroke text line on 0260846539, 0260846539. Tonight on Hot News, we are in a one-on-one conversation with the PNC presidential candidate, and we are going to be talking about how he started politics, what he has done for the PNC, why the ambition to, contest on the ticket of the PNC as their presidential candidate and possibly, lead this country, in the upcoming elections. There are a lot to talk about, but before I introduce my guest on the program, let me delve a bit into his profile. This person we are talking about, in person of Honorable David Appiah, was the PNC Member of Parliament for Bolgatanga Central Constituency between 2001 and 2009. He became the President, Ghana Association of Former MPs, Forum for Former Members of Parliament in 2017. Also, member, Board of Ghana Law Commission, 2006 to 2009. Member, Board of National House of Chiefs, 2004 to 2009. Rapporteur, Committee on Health and Social Services of ECOWAS Parliament, 2005 to 2009. Deputy Chairman, Parliamentary Select Committee on Foreign Affairs, in 2005 to 2009. Deputy Chairman, Parliamentary Standing Committee on the Judiciary, 2001 to 2005. Member, Parliamentary Select Committee on Water Resources, Works and Housing, 2001 to 2009. Member of Appointments Committee of Parliament, 2001 to 2005. PNC Regional Party Secretary, Upper East, 1999 to 2000. PNC Parliamentary Candidate, 1992, 1996, 2000, 2004, 2008, and 2012. Member of National Consultative Assembly, 1991 to 1992. Member of Board of Governors, Bolgatanga Technical Institute, that was in 1994, and he became member of Executive Committee of the Bolga District Assembly in 1989 to 2000. As if that wasn't enough, he became chairman of Bolga District Revenue Task Force in 1993, chairman of Bolga District Traffic and Sanitation Task Force in 1992, chairman of Justice and Security Subcommittee of Bolga District Office, 1989, member of Bolgatanga District Assembly, 1989 to 2000, national treasurer of PNC and chairman of PNC Finance Committee, 2008 to 2015. He was born on the 25th of April, 1962. This person we are talking about is Honorable David Appiah, Honorable David Appiah. Sorry for butchering your name. I'm very sorry about that. I caused a blunder, but I'm sorry. Good evening, sir, and welcome to Hot News tonight.
Yeah, thank you.
Have you been affirmed already by the Electoral Commission?
Yes.
Have you been confirmed?
We have been confirmed.
I think I've seen something like that from the Electoral Commission. I mean, the number of persons who have been confirmed for the race. Now, Honorable David Appiah. I keep getting Appiah.
Yes.
Appiah. Yes. Honorable David Appiah.
Yes.
Tell us a bit more about yourself. Who is Honorable David Appiah?
Well, I am the. I can say, well, I had played politics at an early stage, and I think what drove me close there was I had learned Marxism and we had Marxism cells, and then so the 1981 revolution, we thought that we were going to come off with a socialist state, and that really took my time off. And we thought that that is where we were going. Unfortunately, it didn't go like that. And so after that, I had been with the PDCs and the CDR, and we were hoping that we would work it out. But once it didn't work, it didn't click, finally I had to lose faith in the whole process, and then I went in to contribute my quota when the moment they started the district assembly concept. So I was the first assemblyman in my electoral area.
That was in which year?
I think 89, thereabouts. And I was the assemblyman until I became an MP. Yes, so, and that has brought me into politics. And so that is it about me. I think at best, maybe a social worker or a politician.
One would have thought that there are a lot of political parties in the country. Why PNC?
Well, you see, in 1992, when there was this formation of new political parties, as I told you, I had been a leftist-oriented person, and we had PNC that was coming forth, and then we had NDC, which I had fallen out with, and there was MPP2. One of the things that got me closer to PNC was the fact that Dr. Hilary Liman was overthrown, and the basis for it was for us to wage a revolution. And finally, so if the revolution could not go on, then why don't we allow the man to come back? After all, there was nothing found against Dr. Liman or any of his ministers, even though he ruled Ghana for almost 2.5 years. And that meant that Liman was a very honest person. And I was looking for people, somebody who had credibility and who I could trust. And that is why I decided to go with PNC. Yes.
Okay, that's why I decided to go with PNC. Now let's look at your decision to go to Parliament on the ticket of PNC. What motivated you? Looking at the fact that PNC from that time wasn't that strong enough to have gotten a lot of, members of Parliament at the time.
Certainly, we were not looking at PNC as a weak party, because at the time that 1992, in fact, in Bolgatanga it was PNC, and no one else.
But apart from Bolgatanga, where else?
Yes, we had PNC very strong, even in the central region.
Okay.
In 1992, we won in some seats in central region.
That's a 1992.
I mean the western region rather.
Okay, but that's at 1992. How many seats did the PNC, had in Parliament?
No, 1992 we boycotted because there was this fraud in the election.
Exactly.
And so the opposition, boycotted the parliamentary election. That time, it was presidential election first. So when the presidential election came off and then we detected anomalies, the opposition parties decided that we should boycott. Otherwise, I would have come to Parliament and a whole lot of others would have come because we had won hands down in Bolgatanga.
Okay.
Yes, but we had to boycott to register a point and then to force a change or kind of, modernization of the electoral process. And I think what we did is what has brought about transformation, and finally we have transparent ballot boxes and so on. Yes, that's what happened.
Now you eventually became member of Parliament on the ticket of the PNC. At Bolgatanga, I guess.
Yeah,
yes.
Bolgatanga.
What significant thing have you done for the people of Bolgatanga, and what has been your contribution in Parliament whilst you were the member of Parliament for the constituency?
Well, doing something for the people in Bolga, is long time now.
Exactly.
I may not be able to remember, but I know that I provided some boreholes for some communities. I know I provided some assistance to clad pavilions for some communities. I also made sure that no student passed to go to either secondary school or even vocational and could not go because they could not pay. I made sure I took care of people, their fees, and so on. And in fact, some places I had to go to the extent of even paying for apprentice to go through some kind of training. So I did a whole lot of things. I really was passionate about how to advance the cause of the people. But it is a long time now, so I can't easily remember what I did specifically. People see me and they remind me, you did this for me, but I don't really remember it so much.
Now let's look at your contributions in Parliament.
Yes.
I mean, for your years in Parliament, what were your contributions?
Well, I contributed to debates, and I held my party position where I needed to hold my party position. And like you read, I was also deputy chair for some committees, a member of appointments committee too, and so wherever I found myself, I made sure I contributed. But you know, certainly I was a backbencher. Our parliamentary system is structured in a way that if you are there and you are a minority, you either choose to sit with the minority or you sit with the majority. On either side, you are a backbencher. Nobody is going to see that, well, because you represent a different shade of opinion, come forward and sit in front, so that the speaker, you can always catch the speaker's eye. So that is also a hindrance to people in Parliament when you are not in the front row. But wherever I found myself, I contributed, and then my quota.
At the time, did you align with majority or minority?
It was our party position that we aligned with the majority.
Okay, so the party's position that you aligned with the majority. So
yes.
I mean, you aligned with the majority. Now let's come back a bit and look at, I mean, the PNC and its, you know, stature currently. What's the stature of the PNC?
Well, we have not performed so well in the recent past, and so now we seem to be a very weak party. We no longer have a representation in Parliament, and so that informs why I think that I should leave this party.
What, in your estimation, do you think has caused the PNC to be that weak?
I think it has not been the leadership had a difficulty and being focused on a very important thing, to organize a party. And so when it happens like that, you have a party just like you have put a farm there. And if you don't visit a farm, by the time you go, weeds have overgrown.
Exactly.
That's how party is. And so when you have a party and you don't attend to your people and you don't visit the constituencies, you don't visit the regions, people tend to feel that there is nothing. And that has happened over the years. And so our rank and file also fell off. Others also felt that, look, why don't you join the bigger party? Because, to be honest, I mean, people are poaching and people are trying to convert others from other parties to their parties. And once such a thing is happening, you will certainly be finding people drifting out, especially when you don't get close to have a personal attachment to your followers.
Is that peculiar to the PNC?
No, it's not peculiar to PNC. If you look at all
haven't you know, had some of your members drifted, I mean, you know, left the party to join some of these?
We have had it. That's what I'm saying. That otherwise, where are they? They are certainly going to join other parties. But it is not peculiar to PNC. Even I was reading something, I don't know if they are not telling the truth, but if they are saying the truth, they said some NDC people had joined MPP. It was in the front page somewhere.
Exactly.
Yes,
exactly.
And so it is happening. It is not peculiar to PNC. But we have to work harder and let people understand that you keep faith with PNC and then you grow the party. And one day you also rule.
Now, looking at the current state of the party, where you have described it as weak, how do you intend to revive the weak party we are seeing today?
We intend to move to the communities. We intend to move to the regions, the constituencies. We intend to put in place a very serious work and commit ourselves to it. And so we would have no time maybe doing other things which will not inure to the benefit of our party. What we are going to be doing is basically trying to reorganize ourselves. Because when you go to communities, when I was going around canvassing for votes to become the flag bearer, I remember at Karachi, when I got to Karachi and I saw our party symbol, one lady ran out and was giving us funds. Said, oh, this is my party, this is my husband's party. But these people are hidden. We need to galvanize them. We need to go there, galvanize them, get them out there. And you see, when people thought that, oh, once I belong to a bigger party, when they come to power, I will be comfortable, I will have my dreams met. That is not what will happen now. So that is not the thinking now. People would see that, well, you've joined a bigger party, but your dreams are still not met. And so people who left PNC, I am very certain are coming back. On Saturday, I was in Nima here. I met some people who had left the party. They pledged to come back. They pledged to come back. And so we are going to work hard. The current executive, we are going to be focused in bringing back all those who had gotten disgruntled or one way or the other left the party. They will come back. And then we are going to also reach out to the youth and let the youth know that you can come on board. In fact, some people are going on independent tickets. You can come on PNC ticket and you win power. You win to be a parliamentarian. That's what I did. It's PNC that brought me to parliament. PNC can bring anybody to parliament, depending on whether you are prepared to work. That's how we are looking at it.
Now, over the years, can you say that the PNC has had leadership crisis as a result the party's current state?
Well, certainly I think we have had leadership crisis.
What are some of the crises you think that the party has battled with?
Well, in recent past, the party leader and the party chairman could not easily coordinate. Our National Executive Committee was fractured into allegiance to either side, and so it was even difficult to hold an executive meeting. And you see, that led us to having our Congress very late. So these were issues that didn't work well for the party. And I think that the party has spoken. That's why there was a change all over. Everybody had to be changed.
Do you think that the past leaders' decision to accept an ambassadorial position from the current government has affected the party in any way?
No, I don't think that has affected the party. I don't think so.
But this is a leader of a party, a separate party.
Yes.
Who has been given an appointment by a ruling party.
Yes.
He holds allegiance to the party that has given him the position.
Well, he was given an ambassador at large. Ambassador at large, he is to champion the interest of Ghana and not the interest of a particular political party. He is not coming on board and going on a platform to campaign for a party. And as an ambassador at large, you are not obliged to say that you leave your party position. The party position is the party position, and you have freedom to organize your party. I don't think that adversely affected our party. I think that what I saw was a personality conflict between the leader and the chairman then. And I think that the chairman too had his own problems. Because I believe that if you are made a leader of a party, you walk on a thin line. And because you walk on a thin line, you can't assume certain roles in society. Because if you assume certain roles like demonstrations, and you don't carry your party, you don't get your party agreeing with you, and you do it, it is like carrying your party along. So if you get up and you are a leader of a party and you go and join another opposition force from another country to demonstrate on the street, you have taken the party to that level. And what will happen? They will see that your party in Ghana is fighting a ruling government somewhere. These things do not work well. And I think that these were difficulties that the party confronted. But I don't think that accepting a position as ambassador at large will adversely affect your party. Why should it?
Did he have time for the party while attending to?
Yeah, he was doing his work. He was consulting in his clinic, and I think he had enough time. If he had wanted to crisscross the whole country organizing the party, he would have done it. He would have done it.
All right, let me quote you. You said PNC is ready to win 2020 presidential elections. Did you say that?
Yes, I said that.
How are you able to, change the fortunes of a party you described as weak to one that will win elections in the upcoming elections, looking at the time frame?
Yes. Well, certainly the time is a problem. I don't disagree with that. But you see, like I'm saying, now people, there's despondency everywhere. Yes. Among the youth, unemployment is still high. People are still wondering whether there is hope for them. And I am believing that once you have such a situation, people will begin to say, look, let's look for a more serious person who has been able to convince us that he has the credibility and the conviction and the passion to turn around issues within this country. And maybe it will help us. And when we position ourselves that way for the Ghanaian, we are going to get votes swinging that will give propellers to have the percentage that can take us to the Jubilee House.
You and I know that in this country, the National Democratic Congress and the New Patriotic Party are the parties that are not dominating. I mean, when it comes to elections and all of that in this country. Sometimes we go into an elections and the smaller parties could not even garner up to 1%. You are still optimistic that the PNC can perform magic in the upcoming elections?
Well, it's not like PNC is performing magic. PNC is simply positioning itself as an alternative.
Very well. So how are you positioning yourself
that's what I'm saying.
as an alternative?
That's why I'm saying.
Do you have a manifesto yet?
Yeah, we will soon launch our manifesto. And that is just because we had our Congress just early this month, right?
How are you able to get an ample time to sell your manifesto to the good people of Ghana?
Well, now fortunately we have you people who are there. People are watching us. Yes, so it doesn't take too much time to sell your manifesto like in the past. We have social media. We've all put it there, and a whole lot of people are able to read now. You understand?
Exactly.
So you don't have a difficulty putting across what you want to do. And that's how we are going to make it. Yes.
All right. Now let's look at what the PNC, after winning the 2020 elections, has for the good people of Ghana.
Yes, I have been saying it, and I say, look, PNC is going to work towards wherever we have been importing, wherever we have been importing, we are going to work around it and make sure we stop importations. That is when you will create the jobs in your country. And so I said immediately, what we will begin to do immediately is to make sure that we don't import finished petroleum products when we have a refinery standing. You see, when Osajifu Dr. Kwame Nkrumah brought about, he constructed a refinery in Ghana, he never thought that Ghana will be producing crude oil. And so he was buying crude oil which was cheaper in the open market and bringing it to refine. And so why don't we do that? And we take dollars. We change our cities into dollars and go and buy a petroleum product and come in and feed our cars. And then you have the dollar appreciating all the time against your local currency, and then we are complaining. So we will first of all start with that we are not exporting our crude oil until we have enough to refine and do it at full capacity at our refinery. When we can refine at full capacity, what is left, then we export. And then what we refine will be for our domestic market, and we will now be exporting finished product. Yes. And then we come and we look at the rice sector. Millions of dollars is spent importing rice. And you go and look at the countries we are importing from. They don't have more fertile lands.
Okay.
But we have a lot of valleys that we can put it into use. We will have the rice mills sited at where we have these. PNC will make sure we acquire the lands, and then we are going to give it to the people to cultivate, and we will buy the produce. At the end of your harvest, we make sure, government makes sure that we buy it and we process it there. And what is for the local consumption will be for local consumption. What is for export, we export it. And when we do that, we will be cutting down the quantity of imports in terms of foodstuff and so on. We can produce this enough to even provide for a whole lot of other countries. It's not working. And that's where we are going to commit ourselves to. And we are
what do you think that we are lacking as a country when it comes to production of some of these products?
I think that you see, people talk, but maybe they are not able to go to the level that you can ginger up people and give them the courage and then the enthusiasm to go into that production. Because if you tell them to produce and they have no market, then it is like they shouldn't have done it at all. If you have the young man going into rice production with the support of government, and he comes out and he has a whole lot of young men will go into it. But if that doesn't happen, who would like to go into farming? You go into farming and you come out a poor man. Excuse me. How are you going to do that? So this is where I think the problem is, and we are going to commit ourselves to that. Apart from that, you see, the cost of energy, electricity, particularly, is so high in Ghana that you can't run machines with it and make ends meet.
What will the PNC government do?
We are going to look at all contracts signed under energy sector, particularly on generating electricity. We're going to look at it, and wherever there has been faulty contracts, we have to rectify them. We will rectify them so that we cut down cost.
Do you think that there have been faulty contracts signed within the energy sector?
I suspect. I don't know, but I suspect, because there have been a lot of stories about energy sector and so on.
What if you come and you realize that there hasn't been any faulty contracts signed?
If there have not been faulty contracts, we have to look at other ways of generating electricity.
Okay.
Because we have a bigger land.
What are those other ways?
The other ways, particularly nuclear. Nuclear fission can bring us a whole lot of electricity. Countries like Japan, where they are not fortunate enough to have very stable conditions like we have. You know, they still have nuclear fission. We have the places where we can side these and produce enough energy. If not, you cannot industrialize. Because if you run your industries on current, and you have to have air conditioners to cool the machines, and you at the end of the day you pay so much, how are you going to break? And you are competing with the international market. So how are you going to make it? You will run and you lose, and so you can't industrialize. Might have been one of the reasons why most of the industries collapsed. You see. So we are bringing on board a whole system, and we are prepared to work hard at it. It is commitment.
Now let's stay a bit on the energy sector, and then the fact that you are looking at other alternatives. If you're given a nod and there hadn't been any faulty contracts, you're looking at other ways of generating power.
Yes.
You talked about nuclear, energy and all of that.
Yeah.
Have you in any way quantified how much it will cost this country to come up with that, initiative?
Whatever it will cost us, at the end of the day, it will pay off.
Because other sectors of the economy would equally need funding.
Yes.
And so if you are making provisions for the energy sector and what you would want to do, then it means that it becomes quite necessary for the PNC to know that this is an amount of money we are likely to dedicate in getting this problem solved within the energy sector.
Yes.
Am I right?
Yes. And I can tell you that if you will get a very good thing done for the energy sector and set your industries working, in due course, Ghana will be better off than saying that we are putting here and there, and then we are not industrializing, and then you keep on importing, and you are building other people's job market. Because what we import from them, they are able to produce more, and they employ their own people to work. And your people, because you are importing, they can only sell, but they can't go into work.
But we are told that the issue within the energy sector is not about generational capacity. Because if it has to do with generational capacity, then it means that we have an excess where we are even supplying some to some other countries, and we are selling some to some other countries and all of that. In order for you to look at other alternative of generating electricity or power, are we not rather generating in excess we would not need?
If we generate in excess, at least the cost should come down, and then we can sell others.
But we have an excess.
But if you have
coming down,
yeah, because that's why I'm telling you that it might have been how we arrived at those things. Because for me, if you go and then you sign a contract where you are bound to pay so high for the cost of that energy you're producing, you are doing yourself nothing. You can only provide light for yourself, that's fine. But you cannot industrialize with high cost on energy. You will certainly lose. Because what you will produce, you can't make even. And you are competing with a whole wide world. You are competing with a whole wide world. So how do you make it? And that is why we have to look at it and make sure that we work at it. And make sure that it comes down. That is the best option for Ghana. I remember I read something when Nkrumah was trying to build Akosombo. He said, look, we have to find a way of bringing energy very cheap in order to industrialize. It hasn't worked like that. Why hasn't it worked like that? We don't know, but we will make sure that we would tackle that area.
Now let's look at the PNC's policies on education.
Yes, education is good. We had talked about free education since 2008. And we had been talking about free education. I am happy the current government has been able to implement free education as senior.
Is it a type of free education that the PNC has been trumpeting?
Well, what we wanted is from day one. Free education up to the university level. That is what we are advocating.
Okay.
because we know that a whole lot of people cannot go through education because their backgrounds cannot support them.
Exactly.
And so that's why I'm saying I'm happy that this government has been bold enough. Because when we were talking about free education, people thought that it's a very dangerous thing to tread into and that you cannot succeed. I mean, they have come and I think they have been bold enough and they have succeeded.
Okay.
Yes, so we are going to pursue free education from day one up to wherever you end. And you see, when you build your people, you give them the training, your country will go far. You see, your country will go far. You look at Cuba.
So your policy is not just about giving free secondary school to the good people.
No.
It has to do with
because there are some people who cannot even get to the senior secondary school because if they have to buy their own books, they have to keep on, and then they provide everything. Their parents cannot support it, and so they cannot come to that level where there's free education. And after that free education, if it is truncated there, they cannot go further. You get my point?
Exactly.
And so we want to make sure that once you are born a Ghanaian, you can go to school and come up. And I can. Cuba is under embargo, and yet Cuba is able to produce enough doctors.
Exactly.
And export to all countries, including Ghana. And they went and salvaged their own colonial masters when they were hit with COVID-19. Yes. How did they do it? It is just a conviction. If you get your people convinced that we have to work to bring ourselves out of the difficulties that we find ourselves. Otherwise, when are we going to do it? When will you do it? Because, look, we have been independent for 60 years, right?
Exactly.
When are we going to be liberated from poverty? When are we going to come off the dependency? When are we going to stop borrowing? When we should have be rather lending out. So we continue to borrow and to borrow and to borrow and to beg. That will not work. And so we need to convince ourselves that, look, we have to begin to do something for ourselves. And stop looking at education and comparing it with figures in US and so on. We are not in US. Why don't we compare education, cost of education with countries like Cuba? Yes, they are also a country, they are training. Why don't we compare? And we keep on comparing ourselves with other advanced countries.
So now, one issue that came up when this government started trumpeting free senior high school policy is about the source of funding, where they were going to get funding for the project. How do you intend to get funding for free SHS from crèche to the university?
Yes, if I tell you, even just making sure we refine our crude oil and selling only finished products and only exporting what we cannot refine. Look, that alone can yield us a lot of money to take care of that. You know the amount of money we spend importing finished product to burn our cars? No. That alone can bring us results. But you see, the truth is that we have borrowed and borrowed. What are we borrowing for? If you borrow and develop your human resource, is very good. But we are not going to look at borrowing. We are going to make sure that we generate locally what we want.
So PNC government will not borrow.
I'm not saying completely not borrow. Because borrowing to finance projects that would turn your economy around is very good. You don't borrow to spend anyhow frivolously. The other thing about borrowing, that if you are not careful, is that when you get free money, you spend it careless. See, we have a huge debt on us. But certain times, you look at what the money has been spent on. And I think it's certain times overestimated. Overestimated. For a project that could have been 20,000, you go and put it 50, 100,000. We are going to sit down with technical people and look at it. When I was in Parliament and I left 2008, that time, how much was a kilometer of asphalt? It was about less than $600,000. How much is it today? It's in dollars. It is not like you are going to a series and you say the city is developed. The dollar is maintaining itself. And we should be able to get this. We should be able to let people know that, look, let's respect our currency. Don't sit down and quote projects in dollars. You don't quote school fees in dollars. You go to a hotel and it's quoted in dollars. I have never seen it anywhere. Even Nigeria here. You go there, they quote in Naira. You go to South Africa, they quote in Rand. And in South Africa, if you go into a shop and you don't have Rand, you can't use dollar to pay. You have to go to a bank, change your dollar into Rand, come and buy. And so we have to do a lot. It is just for us to be committed enough. And then you see Ghana turning around. And we want to position ourselves and tell Ghanaians that, look, PNC is in a position to reform your country and make sure that every young man has hope.
All right, viewers, you are still watching Hot News right here on Pan-African Television. We are coming to you from our studios in Abelinkwe 48 Swanika Street here in Accra. The conversation is getting very interesting. Send in your views, comments and contributions on 0260846539, 0260846539. You can as well leave your comments, suggestions, questions you would want me to ask the presidential candidate on our WhatsApp, on our Facebook, Twitter and Instagram accounts. We will make a time and read all those out for you. Try as much as possible to keep the messages coming. Now, let me come back and look at your youth policies. What do you have for the youth, PNC?
Well, we are going to bring back Ghana Young Pioneers system. Ghana Young Pioneers, you see, whole lot of us, we have difficulties because we need to inculcate the right thinking in our youth and our children coming up. Otherwise, you see, patriotism is lost. And when patriotism is lost, you have all other social vices taking root, because the young are growing. And then how many of us have time to sit at home and talk to our children or teach our children what? So they grow up looking at internet, reading from internet, and they don't know that we have to train our children and our youth to frown on corruption, to respect people with integrity, not necessarily people who are rich. You understand? But as I'm saying, we are going to make sure that education is open to the youth, that you don't stop at a place because you can't confirm your education. We are going to open up agriculture and organize, and youth who will go into it will surely benefit. And we are praying, like I am saying, we are going to try and look at the energy sector, see how we can reduce it, and then so that industries can begin to work. That is what we're going to do. And that will help the youth in finding themselves placement in the job market.
Is the PNC having, a youth policy document, a very comprehensive one?
Well, we are yet to have that on our manifesto. As I'm saying, we're working on it. We'll come out with a comprehensive youth policy. And that will tackle the needs of the youth. But I believe that if we could start whether we win or not, whoever, I will tell you the best way is to get your youth thinking right. When they think right, they will do things for the development of the country. Otherwise, we will be sitting on a time bomb, because the youth, in their numbers, unemployed, in a disarray. They are not focused. They would not know where. And such a group of people, when you are having them in your country, and you don't tackle the issue of unemployment, you don't tackle the issue of reorienting their thinking, you are sitting on a time bomb.
In your submission on the youth policies, you mentioned corruption.
Yes.
And at the just ended, debate organized for, the minority presidential aspirants, you were quoted to have said that perpetrators of corruption in your administration will be shot. Did you say that?
You see, well, I was quoted out of context. You see, we were talking about corruption, and I said we have to make sure that people who are corrupt.
I'll come to you once again, but on that note, you were quoted to have said this, quote, "If we try tougher punishment and it doesn't restrain people from corruption, we have to go to that length. If you steal and you know that if you are caught, you will die, you would not do it.
Yes.
You are stealing to eat.
Yes.
And if you know that you will be caught and shot,
Yes.
you would not do it."
Yes.
You explain.
That is what it is.
Are those your words?
Yes, those are my words. And I'm saying that if
To
you
what
try,
end were you saying so?
if you try the tougher measures, tougher punishments, and they are not working, others are shooting people or hanging them for corruption. And maybe that has solved their problem. So why not? If corruption is the cause of our problems in Ghana, and I can tell you for sure that corruption is not helping us. And so if it is the biggest problem, and fortunately this government, I can praise them for bringing a special prosecutor to deal with it, and yet nothing is happening. I don't know what is the problem. But if, for instance, we win and we strengthen the hand of the special prosecutor, we strengthen the hand of the police, and people are brought to face the full rigors of the law, and yet it is continuing, then we have to look at other options. It is not for David to say go and shoot. It's not a revolutionary era, or it is a law matter. And so if you are going to...
I was just about to come to that.
Yes.
What did the laws of the country say about dealing with corrupt officials?
Yes.
People who have
they'll be tried and jailed
against the country.
They'll be tried and jailed.
So should that not be the ultimate?
That is what I'm saying. How many people are tried and jailed? Maybe, I don't know. But what I'm saying is that
we have a Appiah behind bars.
Oh, that's, well, fine. He is one. How many else can you count?
Seydou Agongo is behind bars. Is this Seydou Agongo also? No, one of his accomplices was also behind bars.
So what I'm saying is that these are two people who are counted. Is it the whole corruption thing that you're talking about? No. If we are able to really jail people, I believe it will stop people from doing it. If we are able to jail people for corruption, I am believing that we do not need to go further than that.
Okay. So do you still hold the position that if we try, tougher punishments and they are not working, we have to go that length?
I am not saying we should go. I am going to propose to Ghanaians. We are making sure that you face the tougher punishment. We are going to put you go through trial, fair trial, and then if they commit you to jail.
What's the basis of your proposal to Ghanaians?
That is when the right thing is done, the punitive measures are taken and nothing is happening. That is what I was saying. But if I believe that it may not get to that, if we were jailing people properly, if we were dealing with people who are making people to feel the full rigors of the law regarding corruption and other malpractices, maybe it would have kept the situation. So I am saying that do it that way, get it to full length. If it is not working, think about other options that other countries are practicing. You go and study their system. How is it helping them? If that is helping them, why not?
All right, I'll come back to you. I mean, we have issues of security to deal with and national development plan. I'll come to you on that before we wrap up. But let me read a few of our messages because we have some messages here. This one says, Justice, PNC can't be strong because Mr. Honorable Appiah and Edward Mahama are surrogates of MPP. Why did PNC refuse to fill PC in Bolga, yet he wants them to vote for him? Musa internally sent in that when the person is accusing you that you are a surrogate of the New Patriotic Party. Would you want to respond to that?
But that's also, I mean, he is just accusing for accusing sake. He should have asked. Why are we filling a candidate in Sisala East? Sisala East is where MPP has the seat. We have filled the candidate. In Bolga, it is NDC that is holding the seat. So how would somebody accuse me for being an MPP surrogate so I wouldn't fill the candidate there? It doesn't make sense. But what I'm saying is that we had a candidate in Bolga Central, and we had one we were trying to prop up to contest in the Bolga East.
Okay.
And unfortunately, in the last hour, these two people chickened out. They refused to come in. I talked with them personally on phone, and they refused to come in.
How many pieces do you have across the country?
We have about 36.
36 pieces across the country. Okay.
And so that is not like we are surrogates. He knows. If he had followed me, he knows that in the parliament that I sat with MPP, there were occasions that I disagreed with MPP on the floor of the house. If he goes to find out about us, he will know. So if Mahama is no longer in the equation here, why even bring Mahama's name?
Exactly. Okay, let me read a few of the messages. I'll come back for us to deal with those two issues and then wrap up. This one says, good evening. I'm watching live inside Lagos. I pray for Ghana that there will be continued progress and development in all sectors of the economy. I asked, please don't call the WhatsApp line. I'm sorry. I asked for the supply of your grace to all our leaders and wisdom to know and to do what is required for the nation to experience growth and development according to your good intent. God bless Ghana. Joe Eskin from Lagos, Nigeria. He is watching us in Lagos, Nigeria. Thank you so much for your message, Joe Eskin. Good evening, boss. Tell His Excellency David Appiah Asibi, inshallah, he will win in the coming elections.
Thank you.
If he wins 2020, what will he do to stop poverty in the northern region? He already won my vote, and he should contact me and stop everything and follow him every corner to do campaign for him. David 2020 #PNC 2020. Vote PNC 2020. I'm Rashid Bawa, watching you live in OEB. Thank you so much, Rashid, for your message. Good evening. Ask Honorable why our past and present leaders were not able to do all the things he's saying. Trinity in Axim sent in that one. Trinity, thank you so much for your message. This one says, please don't call the WhatsApp line. How do you expect me to answer your call on this? I cannot, certainly. And so stop calling. Good evening, Mr. Host, and to your guest. Please tell my presidential candidate to give me his contact privately before leaving the studios. I'm Abdul Fattah from Nyimati in the Sisala West District of Upper West Region. Thank you so much for your message. I'll ask his Honorable if he wants me to give you his number. I'll do so. Hi, Justice. If per what the leader is saying about the wrong of the chairman, why then is he saying that it's right to take position? It's right to take position in another party as serving the nation, but when the chairman is demonstrating against bad policies in the country, it's bad. You are not being fair as a leader. Mohammed in Tamale sent in that one. Mohammed, thank you so much for your message. This one says, it's from Correct Score Zakaria in Sunyani. He says, President Dankwa Akufo-Addo will lose because 1D1F is a failure. 1V1D is also a failure. Zongo Development Fund is a scam and loot the country. Look, MPP is visionless and has no mission. Well, we are not discussing MPP and NDC here. You send something pertaining to what we are discussing. I'll read it for you. Good evening, host. Honorable Appiah is the man to move Ghana forward. PNC is the party Ghana needs. Yusuf in Kumasi sent in that one. This one says, hi, Defense Minister and Interior Minister left the PNC and joined MPP. Manuel Akazabre sent in that one. Dominic Nitiwul and Ambrose Derry left the PNC and joined the MPP too. All right, thank you so much for your message. Good evening, Justice. Honorable Appiah is someone I personally know, and I have no doubt of his credentials, but unfortunately, how I wish he would have found himself in the camp of the NDC. A.T. Atongo and Adongo in Tamale sent in that one. Somebody is saying that, well, he thinks that you are in the wrong party. You should have been in the NDC. Unfortunately, you can't force anybody to be in any party, actually. Well, this one says, well, this is not Senna, this is Justice. This one says, thanks, but the problem is poor network, making it difficult. Okay, all right. Thank you so much for your message. This one says, all right, I think our time is even almost up, but let me come to you, Honorable, for these two issues. One has to do with the current issues of insecurity in the country. We all know that a journalist has been murdered before. We all know that a University of Ghana law professor was murdered. Currently, a member of parliament has been murdered. Previously, one member of parliament was actually murdered. We've had series of some of these murder cases, including the kidnap of some Takrady, the 3 Takrady girls and all of that. Security or issues of insecurity has been an albatross around the neck of this country. How do you intend to solve some of these things? Quite apart from that, we've seen series of armed robberies that are happening in this country, including some of the major highways, on some of the major highways in the country. What would the PNC government do in terms of security?
Well, you see, this is a very difficult situation, right? What we would do is that, one, we will equip the police properly. Properly in a sense that, look, right now, police just on patrol may not be able to engage armed robbers because they have more bullets at their disposal firing at you, and you have maybe 5 bullets. You understand? We have to equip the police. We have to give them bulletproof jackets. We have to give them night goggles and then let them work. Apart from that, I propose that we have a paramilitary organization for dealing with this kind of highway armed robberies. Because if you look at it, if you are confronted in the highway, the police cannot get there to secure you or save you. By the time police will get there, you will have been vandalized or shot. I know it happened between Bolga and Boku. You can imagine 50 kilometers or 50 miles, okay, more than 50 kilometers. And at a particular place, they blocked these guys, made everybody to lie down, they searched everybody. And they had called police. Police could not come to save them. They robbed the people all. They were moving from Bolga to the place. My party chairman was one. They robbed them. Now, if we had this group that I'm talking about equipped with helicopter, gunships,
okay,
and properly trained, maybe under a military command, a military command where you are trained to take orders.
Okay,
you don't just trigger happy shooting. No, and then you get the message, and the aircraft is in the air. Once the aircraft goes up in the air, they will leave the place. They will they'll let them go because they know that the aircraft will come close and you cannot run and escape. But if you say on the ground, my old lady died and I was sending her home. Before I could get to Dawa, I saw somebody with some wrap around him, standing and doing this towards me, aiming me. I really, it was around 3 o'clock in the evening. And it never occurred to me that this guy was trying to shoot. Until we got close to him, by God's power, he couldn't fire his gun and called some other guys. And they also took their guns, 2 of them, and they were running to cross us. By the time they crossed the road, we had passed, and they shot. And we ran to Dawa. We told the police picked the car and they ran there. Who could I see? But if you had that group, they fly up. And before you can run, they would have seen you. And that is the best way to stop them. But the other thing is this, that you see, when the youth are trained, that's why I'm talking about the Ghanaian young pioneers. When people are trained to be patriotic, a whole lot of people will not go into this business. And when there are job openings, why risk your life? Because as you are going with armed robbery, somebody will be shot. And I'm happy that people who have killed these other people have been apprehended. But you look at them, they are youth. And if they had good upbringing, why should somebody at that level take guns and go in and then be robbing people and shooting people? That's wrong. So these are things that we are going to embark on. And we are sure that by such a measure, we will make highway armed robbery even not a lucrative thing for anybody. We will have job openings, so you don't need to even go and rob anybody. You go and work.
All right. Okay. Thank you so much. But let me correct this. Finally, we need to wrap up. In wrapping up, let's look at National Development Plan. You know, how do you intend to, get a development plan for the country if you are given the nod?
Well, you see, a development plan has to look at every sector of the economy. And you look at the economy, it depends on how you want to tackle it. And we are going to look at the economy with the best of technical brains from Ghana, within Ghana. And we are going to be as practical as possible.
Okay.
So that whatever we are bringing on board, it is not going to be like it's PNC, but that is the best alternative to tackling the issue. You see, there were past, and when Kwame Nkrumah was overthrown, he had a plan for Ghana. If people had seen this plan as the best option for Ghana, I think Ghana would have been far ahead.
Okay.
And so we want to do that. If we are going to do it, we are not going to simply limit it to only PNC.
Okay.
Otherwise, you come out with a document and they look at it and say it's political agenda of PNC. It shouldn't be. It should be a national political agenda or a national economic agenda that will help Ghana out of our current situation, our crisis.
Your final words to the good people of the PNC and then, of course, I mean, the good people of Ghana.
Yes, I call on the PNC members to wake up and begin to work hard and get people come on board and let everybody see PNC as the alternative. And I call on Ghanaians that this is an opportunity to try another option.
Okay.
And PNC is definitely an option. I'm dedicated with my Vice President, Dr. Ayivo. We are going to bring to Ghana what Ghanaians thought it would never happen. We are going to bring about development in a very rapid manner, and Ghanaians will be, well, I mean, the scenario will change, and there will be hope.
Look at here. Oh yeah, you can look through that camera.
Yes.
Oh, okay. So I mean, thank you so much for coming. We are so grateful. But then you talked about, of course, Cuba and how they are under a certain ban, yet they are able to export doctors and all of that. But let's not lose sight of the fact that Cuba is a socialist country. Ghana, we are ruled by persons who accept that they are capitalists.
No, so the rule now, the thing is not even defined. Look at the MPP. People used to say they are property-owning democracy, whatever. Okay. Now they have brought on board social interventions that are very, very, very good.
It doesn't mean that they are socialists.
But it doesn't mean. But once you can do that, you can go further. It means whatever social intervention is going to help Ghana, you will bring it on board. And that is where I'm talking about. If we look at it and we have to reduce cost in educating our medical doctors, we should produce as many as possible. Why wouldn't we?
Okay.
So I think that is where we are coming from.
All right. Thank you so much, Honorable. Wish you good luck.
Thank you.
And then we hope that you transform, the fortunes of the the PNC. We pray and hope that the PNC gets the opportunity to come back to power, at least to continue what Dr. Hilary Liman actually started. But how many of the seats you are eyeing, going into the 2020 elections and probably going to Parliament? The 30 pieces, how many are you looking out for?
We are to go around the constituencies and we are going to look at where we can. But we are eyeing the 30 seats or 36 seats.
Okay.
We are eyeing all
the seats.
All the seats.
Yeah. All right. Okay, all the seats. All right, thank you so much. So we wish all the pieces good luck, and we wish you good luck in the upcoming elections too. All right, viewers, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for staying up to watch today's edition of Hot News. Also, let me say a very big thank you to my cameraman in the studio, David, also to my directors, Adam and Sewa, my producer, Latifa, my soundman, Titi, and then all other persons who were part of today's production. Kudos. Thank you all so much for always being there. Once again, make a time with us, same time tomorrow. But let me say, sorry, and once again correct myself. It was Abuga Pele and Asibit who were rather jailed. The other person whose name was mentioned, unfortunately, isn't. It was a mistake. An oversight. Thank you all so much for watching the program. Make a time with us, same time tomorrow.